Now today's Dr. Sitesh going to focus on to the topic pharmacy practice in Bangladesh and its global application in pharmacy educations. So welcome to Sitesh sir. Over to you. Please focus on to the topic.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pawa, for inviting me in these situations. Definitely, I would like to express my gratitude to Dr. Shamrat ji and the other faculty members of these institutions, beloved students, and the participants. Very good morning to all of you. It is already is a good afternoon here in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So because though during the situations, these objectives of this webinar is the interdisciplinary ethno-science web conclave. Even then, being a pharmacist and the students of this pharmacy college here in Bhopal, I thought the things I would like to share my views and ideas. What is the role of a graduate pharmacist in a healthcare service, not only in Bangladesh, as it is in India and in these Asian countries, and this present scenario, what is this and what we can support to our patients, that I would like to share my views and ideas among my colleagues and the students. So I am very much happy to be here, and I shall try my best during the time to explain why graduate pharmacist involvement in healthcare service or pharmacy practice is very much important. So shall I start it, or after the inaugurations talk with our Dr. Shamrat Ji's talk, then we shall continue now. Shall I continue? Shall I continue, Dr. Rajesh, or Dr. Shamrat Ji's space? Then we shall talk. Which one is the first? I shall continue my talk. Okay. Please allow to share my screen. Please allow me to share my screen so that I can share my screen there.
Yes, sir. Please share your screen.
Yes, yes. Is it visible to everybody?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I can just adjust. Unable to see anybody. Just let me 1 minute to show my all participants here so that I can do these things.
Okay.
It's not able to hear it. Okay, so let it later. So thank you, everybody. And definitely again, I would like to express my thanks to Dr. Rajesh and this institution, Bhopal Pharmacy Graduate Institutions, for giving me the opportunity to say on role of graduate pharmacist in a healthcare service in Bangladesh, the present and the future prospect. As you know, the graduate pharmacists work in an institution, hospital and community pharmacy services and responsible for ensuring the safe, appropriate, and cost-effective medicines. Because, so pharmacists from the industry to the patient care, everywhere, the role of graduate pharmacists is inevitable. And they work collaboratively with other healthcare professionals to ensure the most appropriate drug use management for the patient. And pharmacy practice is one of the most vital parts of an institution, hospital, and communities for better patient care and drug safety management. This is all the scenario always we are informing to our students in the classrooms. But this scenario is not that as you expected, according to what we are disseminating our knowledge in the classroom. World Health Organization recommends that standard pharmacy practice should be carried out under the supervision of a professionally competent and a legally qualified pharmacist, who also clearly recommends that the management of drug procurement, storage, and distribution should be the only responsibility of the pharmacy graduates. And so all are very much established procedures, and FIP always ensuring these things. But this scenario in Asia, especially in Bangladesh and India, is not so much as you expected. Or in modern world, what they are contributing in terms of pharmaceutical care to the patients, we are not up to the mark. One study has shown that higher level of hospitalization for patients who have poor adherence compared to patients who have proper adherence. So this is very vital, important things, and this is only dependent on the involvement of a graduate pharmacist. Another study have revealed significant improvement on the patient's knowledge and attitudes when a clinical pharmacist provide healthcare education to the patients and thus offer a positive impact on the treatment outcome. So this is the usual practice all over the world a pharmacy graduate is doing. But what is the present scenario regarding the pharmacy practice, and pharmacy innovations in pharmacy practice, and the mission and vision and pharmacy practice? I shall little bit try to explain in the next slides regarding the present scenario of the pharmacy profession. So in definitions, what is called pharmacy in terms of the pharmaceutical care provided by a pharmacist? Pharmacy is patient-oriented health services that applies a scientific knowledge to promote and to improve and to promote health through assurance of safety and efficacy of drug therapy. That in these definitions is totally clear. A pharmacy from the industry to the patient bed care, a patient's bedside, assuring the quality and safety medications. So mostly in our Bangladesh, we are providing the quality in manufacturing the quality medicines, not up to the mark to the clinical side or the patient's bedside. So that is things I would like to share all of you. So we have a vision to provide the patient care, but we have to go a long way. Our vision is to provide a patient care with other healthcare professionals, but our vision, our limit is sky, and we have to achieve these vision things. So what is the pharmacist globally in working all over the world? That's the scenario I would like to share. In the community pharmacy, globally, about 55% graduate pharmacists are involved in community pharmacy practice. And pharmacist is the first point of contact in a community setup on matters related to drug and drug uses. And he comes in contact with more patients than any other healthcare professionals. You see, when patients, most of the cases, come to the pharmacy to get OTC medicines, he or she need not to go to the doctor. But in a healthcare settings or in a pharmacy settings with the consultations of the doctor's facilities or consultation, if you count the number of patients coming to the pharmacy, most of the cases, if we count in the number of patients who already contacted to the pharmacist than the doctors. So that is the main strategy for better health care of the community in any society. But we are not able to upgrade our knowledge and practice in the society. In hospital pharmacy service, what is the scenario in the government, private and clinical pharmacies in our areas or in globally? More than 30% graduate pharmacists are involved in hospital settings. And in manufacturing, only 5% globally. And in government agencies, including the regulatory bodies like FDA, drug administrations, Director General of Drug Administration in Bangladesh, DCGI in India, everywhere mostly not more than 5% graduate pharmacists involved in this. So, and academic institutions, only 5% pharmacists are involved there. So in totality, in community pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, manufacturing, government agencies, and academic institutions, 100% are involved. But the actual scenario in India as well as in Bangladesh is just opposite. In manufacturing, most of the graduate pharmacists are involved, and less in community and hospital pharmacy. The government agencies, academic institutions may be a little bit more or less. So this scenario is totally changed, is just opposite. So the pharmacy practice as it has developed implies the area of operations of pharmacy activities in an institution, hospitals, and community. And it deals mainly with human lives, safety, and ethics. This is the usual practice, what we are doing here as a pharmacy practice. The practicing professionals are the real image builders of the many institutions or of any professions. And the public evaluate professions through the capability and competence of the members of that profession. That is the lacking in our society. We are not able to promote our profession so that we have no capability to establish our capabilities and competence as a member of the professions to the society. This is one of our problems for building of the professional integrity in the society. So pharmaceutical care, pharmacoeconomics, pharmacovigilance, healthcare team concept, medication error, all are very, very important parts of a pharmacy practice. So, for in a hospital settings or in a healthcare settings, a doctor provide the medical care, and the nursing provide the nursing care, and the pharmacists provide the pharmaceutical care. And the care should be pharmacoeconomically with the vigilance of a pharmacologically vigilance team for assessing the serious on regular adverse events and healthcare in terms of healthcare concept, and definitely have to address the medication error experienced by the patients and the community peoples, those who are taking such kinds of medicines. So we should have to be care as the mother care her child. So being a pharmacist, we have to care our professions so that we will be able to build up our professional integrity in the society. Pharmacy as a profession is governed by regulations, ethical and professional principles and norms. And the credibility of the professionals depends on his ability to perform professionally. That is the very important things. We have to perform the pharmacy practice professionally to the society so that every professions can recognize us as a pharmacist. So regarding these things, the present scenario, just I would like to share my experience as a hospital pharmacy practice, which is the maybe a future prospect in everywhere in India and Bangladesh. In the hospital settings in a score hospitals as Bangladesh, what is the activities done by a graduate pharmacist? The pharmacist especially involves in dispensing in outpatients, inpatients, floor stocks, controlling of narcotic drugs, compounding activities of extemporaneous preparations, total parental nutrition, antibiotic stewardships, chemotherapy drug admixtures, as well as drug information service they are providing, participated in the regular basis in the inventory management, education and training with the other professionals, especially in the training of the nurses and the doctors, quality improvements, as well as also participate in the research. So these are the things a hospital pharmacist involved in a tertiary care hospitals in Bangladesh, they are practicing. So pharmaceutical care in patients activity, they are providing the writing prescriptions by the doctor. These online prescriptions are received by the pharmacist at the pharmacy in inpatients level. They are reviewing the prescriptions, the graduate pharmacist. Then after reviewing, they are sending to the pharmacy attendant or pharmacy assistant. They are transcribing and billing of the prescriptions, drug selection, packaging and labeling by the pharmacy attendants. Then after things, they are checking in front of the pharmacist, the selected drug, packed and labeled drug, they are submitting to the in front of the pharmacist. The pharmacist is regularly checking each and every integrity of the things and then dispensed and sending to the ward by a pharmacy patient care attendant. And the respective prescriptions sent by the pharmacist to the floor are again maintaining as a file for future management if anything problems arises. So drug arranges in the pharmacy in the tertiary care hospitals on the alphabetically, and the most of the drug distributions in the pharmacy care according to the unit dose drug distribution systems. You know, the unit drug distribution is a pharmacy coordinated method of dispensing and controlling medications in organized healthcare settings. And what is the distinct elements of these things? Medications are contained in single unit package and they are dispensed in as ready to administered form as possible. And for most medications, not more than 24-hour supply of doses is delivered to or available at the patient care area at any time. This is the distinct element. This 24-hour supply will be there. And that will be assured by the pharmacist from the respective departments, what they are working. This is the inpatient prescriptions. This is prescriptions viewed by the pharmacist in the inpatient department through online, and they are receiving it. And after getting such kinds of prescriptions, they are dealing with for regular basis. So on online basis, regarding these prescriptions, they are online, they are reviewing the prescriptions, and this is the transcription bill produced by the pharmacist and pharmacy assistant end of the on the respective patient's head. So this is the patient head, and this bill is produced, because you see the one, two, three, like that. So depending 24 hours basis, once a day, twice a day, thrice a day, depending on the drug is dispensed for 24 hours basis to the patient's head. The medication is dispensed. So these the respective prescriptions and the bill and the medication tray is conveyed by the pharmacy assistant, and he is picking up the medicines according to the bill and the prescriptions and taking it to the into the tray. And after that, he is submitting in front of the another pharmacist before sending it, the bill, prescriptions, and the medicines. These three things is just coordinated and checked by a pharmacist for assuring the right medicine, right drug, right dose, right patient. Then the respective medicine is sent to the floor by the pharmacy attendant or patient care attendant to the respective floors, identified by the patient's name of the each bag size. Each bag retains the medications for individual patient. For getting the medicines from the vendors, all the medicines are checked visually by the graduate pharmacist. If the respective claim is not up to the mark or it's not fulfill the standards, then that medicines may be rejected. And storage of the cooling chain, according to the manufacturer instructions, all medications are preserved in the refrigerated manner. And pharmacist, this is the IPD activities, this OPD activities, the pharmacist, the same way doctors written the prescription, write the prescription, online pharmacist check, receive the prescription and review it, the patient's decisions for payment regarding this, how many medicines they have or not, they talk about this matter. Then the expected items and number of items is assured according to his capacity or capability to buy. Then the transcription and billing is produced, drug is selected, packed and labeled. Then the medicines, bills and prescriptions cross-checked by the graduate pharmacist, and then the medication is sent for preparations and they call for the patients and then dispensed by a pharmacist with counseling. And this is the graduate pharmacist in the OPD is counseling to the patients regarding the medications and is adhering the prescriptions to her, how he or she will take the medicines according to the prescriptions written by the doctor. The graduate pharmacist in extemporaneous preparation compounding activities, we know most of the cases, especially for pediatrics and neonatal, pediatrics and geriatric patients, the dose is not always as is prepared by the manufacturer. So assure the exact dose, sometimes the pharmacist had to prepare the prescriptions according to the doctor's suggestions. And this is the way the pharmacist can assure the exact dose, what is needed, preparing from the existence preparations or chemicals. And what is called, that is called extemporaneous preparations. The pharmacist also involved in the preparation of total parental nutrition under the biosafety cabinet. All proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals are added together according to the prescriptions written by the doctor. The clinical pharmacist is a very important, vital part. A clinical pharmacist in a pharmacy practice is the patient's bedside and always counseling to the doctor or nurses about this medication practice, safe medication practice, because in a critical care area, a patients take more than 10 to 20 medications taking by a single patient, because polypharmacies are there. So sometimes regarding the patient's conditions, doctor choose the medications, but whether it is rational or not, that must be checked by the clinical pharmacist for safe medication practice. And that is doing in this tertiary care hospital in Bangladesh. What is the clinical pharmacist doing? He's always assuring the medication safety, accuracy of the medications, and that must be cost effective, because we know brand and trades and generics, there is a huge differences in cost. So that we should have to assure the cost effective medicines regarding this patient's care management in any tertiary care hospitals. What is the core activities of the clinical pharmacist? Checking and monitoring the interactions among prescribed drugs of the prescriptions. As I told you before, in single prescriptions, more than 10 to 20 medicines are there. Close monitoring of prescribed antibiotics, dosage schedule, therapeutic effectiveness, and calculation of this. This is a regular practice in each and every patient. Therapeutic drug monitoring on pharmacokinetic evaluations of the medicines with the corresponding suggestion to the doctor, because some drugs produce the kinetic changes when they are metabolized in the same microsomal enzyme systems. So that thing should be evaluated by a pharmacist and to inform to the doctor what is happening there. I shall let you know in 1 2 cases there. Continuous clinical drug related informations and international updates of doctors and nurses. And that is the usual practice. We should have to always disseminate the information to the doctors and nurses. And also the adverse drug reaction monitoring, awareness building, and reputations to the Pharmacy and Therapeutic Committee, and also to the regulatory body, Director General of Drug Administration Bangladesh, in a regular manner. We are doing these things. So, as a part of this advanced drug monitoring, the pharmacovigilance activities is defined as the science and activities relating to the detection, assessment, understandings, and prevention of adverse events or any other drug-related problems. And this is very much important in now situations when we are going to start our vaccines. The Covishield, from today or tomorrow, day after tomorrow in India, definitely will start in this month in Bangladesh. So it is very, very important, the pharmacovigilance part. And this is the practice of monitoring the effects of medical drugs after they have been licensed for use, especially in order to identify and evaluate the previously unreported adverse reactions. And adverse drug reactions, any harmful or seriously unpleasant effects occurring at doses intended for therapeutic, including prophylactic, diagnostic effects, which require reductions of dose or withdrawal of dose or forecast hazards from future. So that is the advantage of adverse drug reactions as a part of pharmacovigilance in any activities. And it is strengthening in Bangladesh in 2013. Now it is going well under the Ministry of Health through drug administration. This is some examples of adverse drug reporting. We have reported to the Pharmacy and Therapeutic Committee, to the drug administrations in Bangladesh. We have the following one in our interim or internal adverse drug reaction form we have developed ourselves. And this is the suspected drug events report forms developed by the government regulatory bodies. And both these things we are submitting with the reportations to the government. So high alert medicine is very important issues in healthcare management, especially some types of drugs, they are very much problematic. So according to the Institute of Safe Medication Practice, Hiroshima, Pennsylvania, USA, the high alert medications are drugs that bear the heightened risk of causing significant patient harms when used in error. So what are they? The insulin, opioids and narcotics, inject potassium chloride is very, very important. Intravenous anticoagulants, heparin is very important. Definitely the sodium chloride solutions is very, very important. Because of time constraints, I'm not able to all the stories, but this is very, very important things, because sodium chloride, 3% sodium chloride is very dangerous. If the dose of the sodium chloride in a patient's, especially 3%, to manage this hyponatremia, the rate is, if that rate of administrations of 3% sodium chloride is increased, that may induce demyelination of the nerve cells. In that case, the patient may die, and that may happen in the hypothalamus. And that case I dealt with in once upon a time in my experience. Admixtures of anti-cancer drugs by the competent pharmacist in SCOR hospitals. We have a oncology departments. We have 2 dedicated pharmacists for admixturing and patients counseling regarding this anti-cancer drug management and drug assurance in the hospitals. We are also providing the drug information service to our doctors and nurses. We are very much aware about this prescription error or administrations of the look-alike or sign-alike medicines. So these are the amikacins and chlorpromazine, all are the same. So we have always requesting the doctors and the nurses before administering the drugs for checking, for assuring the right medicines. So these are the same things, Z-morphine and Z-atropine, all of this almost same, only this difference in this one a white mark in the neck, but and another blue mark that can be sometimes not visualized or missed by these sisters. So that should be very much checked. So potential drug-drug interactions monitoring is important because of polypharmacy, as I told you before, in a hospital settings, most of the patients are taking a good number of medicines, particularly on the critical conditions. So that's why we have to be care about our patients. So I share 1 or 2 cases. You see, one patient in 2018, a suspected adverse drug events suspected by phenobarbital at the district level government hospitals in 2014, April 2018. And in another tertiary private hospital, Dhaka, after 1 month, they suspected it may be due to naproxen. Again, other hospitals, they also suspect it may be due to naproxens. But the patients are taking repeatedly cephalosporins at different government and private hospitals, and deterioration and patients' condition was still deteriorating. But when it came to our SCOR hospitals, our tertiary care hospitals, it was found that the patient is taking cefixime repeatedly. And when it was detected, finally, at the patients, and the detection was done on May 29, and patients was died in June 05. So this is the patient condition. So this is very much important to the patient's care, how to detect adverse events. The support to assure rational antibiotics, because you see on patients, all antibiotics are resistant, including polymyxin, tigecycline, colistins, meropenem, all bullet drugs are resistant. So how we can survive the patients? If pharmacist with the literature from these international literatures, and also the hospitals of this hospital's practice published in Elsevier. So when the tigecycline is resistant, but it given in double dose in respective strains of these infections, the bloodstream infections is cured. So this is our practice in the hospitals as a part of the research published in Elsevier. The second case, a patient's ICU, 45 years, male, septic shock, acute exacerbations of COPD, diabetes mellitus, hypertension, acute kidney infections, and CKD patients she is. And I was and what the drug-induced sudden rise in blood pressure, 90, 100, and developed tachycardia, 130 beat per minute. So description, the patient's blood pressure was controlled by noradrenaline and the inotrope. The dose was 0.01 to 0.3 microgram per kg per minute. for his gram-positive antimicrobial agents, doctor suggested him linezolid, 600 milligram, 12 hourly, and has added to his medications. And after few hours of that addition, when linezolid is added, the patient's blood pressure was rapidly raised to 190/100, and significant tachycardia was developed. This is the situations. So how the pharmacokinetics change the drug-drug interaction, that is the things. So he was also getting other medications as well. So linezolid is a weak monoamino oxidase inhibitor, increases effects of noradrenaline by pharmacodynamic synergism, and risk of acute hypertension episodes. So that was the happening. So when linezolid is given with noradrenalines, due to synergistic effect, the noradrenalines provoke the activities, and blood pressure is reduced and tachycardia is developed. And when the dose of the noradrenaline is reduced, this patient's condition is improved. So this is the benefit of a pharmacist, clinical pharmacist at the patient's bedside with the doctors and nurses in critical care management. So I would like to, this is another case studies. I would like to omit these things, but I would like to one thing, because you see, one patient is taking about 16 medications. One is diltiazem, another is midazolam. When the patient was in sedations with the midazolam, but patients had some arrhythmia, cardiac arrhythmia, that was suggested to diltiazem. But when this was given, the patient was prolonged sedation, impaired coordination, confusion, somnolence, and diminished reflex. What was happened? Because midazolam is an ultra short-acting benzodiazepine, and it is metabolized by cytochrome P4 systems 3A isozymes, and these isozymes are inhibited by counteract medications like diltiazem, which may have an effect on recovery from the sedations. So this is the main things for pharmacokinetically for the side effects produced by midazolam. As a result, the half-life of the midazolam is increased with the increasing of the plasma concentration. That's why the patients are not responding. So in long sedations for these reasons. Then pharmacist informed the concerned IC consultant, doctor, about the drug interaction experienced by the patients, and the diltiazem was withdrawn, and patients wake up, and patient was very fine at this moment. So this is the benefit of the pharmacist, a graduate pharmacist involved in any healthcare settings. So in Bangladesh, we have already initiated a graduate pharmacist involvement in model pharmacy, community pharmacy, but the project is not so much as we expected, but this number of pharmacists is gradually reducing from the model pharmacy. So I'm just skipping these things. So finally, being a professionals, we have to place a qualified person in the right place. And in terms of the professions, also, we have to be the right and sensible actions, making all kinds of differences. You see, so only the right thing in the right places makes all sensible differences created in the society. So we should have to be positive regarding these things. We have to be right in our practice. So before ending our talk, the pharmacist, physicians, and nurses, this triad relationship is very much important, keeping our patients in the focal points. If any arms, especially the patient pharmacist is not there, the patient's care is not properly done. And this is mostly happening in our society, in Bangladesh, as well as to some extent in India, because there is no pharmacist, especially in the patient's bedside with the doctors and the nurses. So the healthcare management is not properly as we expected. We are expecting in near future our graduate pharmacist will be in the patient's bedside. Thank you all for your patience hearing.
Thank you, sir. You are very nicely elaborate the term and the role of pharmacist and the relation between patient, physician, nurses, and the doctors. So here I would like to request to the participants and panelists and our another panelist, Dr. Ganeshan, who is connected with us from Jawaharlal Nehru Cancer Hospital, and Dr. Subhas Mandal, who is connected.
Are you able to see Dr. Mundukar is able to see her?
Yeah.
Ganesh ji sir is there also?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ganesh. Unmute yourself, sir. First, unmute yourself.
It's repeatedly is unmuting. But now it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Then again, your voice is not coming, sir. Ganesh, sir.
I try to finish within a time because I think 5 minutes maybe
Okay.
increased.
Okay. Subhas sir, you can contribute. Subhas sir.
Good morning.
Yeah. Yes.
Good morning. Yeah. It is nice to
Yes, sir.
And all of you.
Thank
Suddenly,
you.
this program is going on, and I have joined, but I have another meeting at 12:30. That is conducted by AEFI of Government of India.
Yes.
So in the meantime, I am very happy to hear Sitesh Da on a different subject. Always I used to hear something about research on plant science and chemical sciences, but today he said the status of pharmacists in Dhaka or Bangladesh. Actually, I got an opportunity 3-4 years back to share the situation of India in Dhaka, and at that time, I have seen and feel the situation in their country. But it is very good to hear from the horse's mouth, who is actually associated with a private hospital there. But at this moment, very important issue is whether the pharmacists are really taking part in COVID management, as well as forthcoming rollout of vaccination. FIP has already conducting a series of such webinar during last 3-4 months, and they have given the guidelines. And in our country, we have already requested the Prime Minister to include pharmacists as a frontline healthcare provider to get the vaccine. Thereafter, we also requested them to include the pharmacist as a vaccinator. And I am very proud that the letter of that Indian Pharmaceutical Association has been honored by Government of India, and they have already notified pharmacist as a one of the vaccinator. With a few words, I would like to thank again your institute, Turba Institute, for conducting such an important webinar, and I'll be leaving to join another meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mundukar, for your appreciations.
Dr. Rajesh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Sitesh, good morning.
Yes, I am able to hear you, sir.
Yeah, I have two recent mistake has been received from a few of the pharmacists. What I feel like look alike and sound alike medication must be in the curriculum of pharmacy.
Yes.
This is a medicine which is donepezil. It is for dementia.
Dementia.
The person asked for levocitrazine medicine,
Yes.
and the pharmacist delivered this tablet.
Yes.
The moment it came to me, I checked. It was not levocitrazine. It was a dementia drug, and this is why, because the student not being taught for look alike and sound alike medication in the curriculum. So first request from the on our behalf, we must put to the government. This chapter must be taught in day one itself.
Yes. Donepezil
Secondly,
was
one
mostly
drug has
given
been,
to
because
the,
COVID-19 trial is going on.
benzodiazepine side,
Yeah,
input.
and sir, you won't believe, in Bhopal, all over India, more than 4,000 people had been under trial, and one has the casualty after 19th day. What I feel like, this drug has been taken in emergency approval by DCGI. So my question to the forum is whether the pharmacist has been taken in granted for prior approval for this trial or not. Because it was emergency, over the night they took the emergency approval for these vaccines. There is no animal study in India. There is no in vitro study in India, and directly a patient are going to be treated with this vaccine.
Shall I answer it?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you very much. First of all, what is the implications of emergency use authorization? We have
I don't understand. Yeah.
As according to the citations before it, because when we are providing emergency use authorizations, we have to consider it first. According to Bangladesh, even in India, definitely, these regulatory bodies approve that kinds of medications when it is approved by the other international bodies. Yes. With sufficient preclinical, clinical, and safety data.
Yes.
Yeah. Question is there. Because regarding, if we think about the Covishield is AstraZeneca, that is Zadox OX-on 09 CoV vaccine. Okay, so named as AZD1222. Covishield, we are in Bangladesh, in India, manufactured by Serum Institute, is Covishield. So that part mostly is done in UK, some analytical part done in Australia, some phase 2-3 trial done in Brazil, South Africa. All data is compiled and sent to the regulatory bodies for authorizations. Before authorizations or dossier form, so big documents, because I don't know how shall I let you know, because in day before yesterday, I was one of the vital member of the emergency authorization committee for approval of the vaccines in Bangladesh. That Covishield is also approved in Bangladesh. And we checked lots of papers. And as a pharmacist, I checked only the chemical integrity, purity, and the safety of the preparations. And I find all documents are fine. As Dr. Ganesh asked for, before giving these medications, we definitely have to check whether it is perfect or not, because there is a controversy about the efficacy. Because we all know the this Covishield or this AstraZeneca vaccines is only about 70% is responsive. But according to the law, of any regulatory bodies, 70% effectiveness is fine. It can be can be authorized for human use. And the safety in terms of these things, when it established, so as it is for a short period of time, not its final approval is yet to confirm after post-marketing surveillance. That's why only emergency authorization is applicable. So that was happened. And I think there is no problem. Definitely some patients maybe experience some little bit all kinds of side effects, as was we noticed during the phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials. So that maybe happened. But in our Indian context, there was 1,600 or 1,466 volunteers in India was conducted for clinical trial in phase 3. And that report have some problems. I don't mention is this because I did not detailed reports. I did not read it, but there is a safety report of in Indian context using this Covishield vaccines. So in that case, I think it's fine. It can be used.
Okay. And one more thing, sir, like if the FDA had banned one drug like aspirin molecule, and still the drug of choice is there now, is Ecosprin. When the D-dimer is raised in COVID positive cases, the only drug of choice is Ecosprin 75 mg, OD or BD dose.
Can I repeat the question again?
The aspirin has been banned long back, sir, by FDA. But the other molecules of the same analog being used as a Ecosprin, Disprin again banned. Now Ecosprin is the market. Still the drug of choice for the people around.
Aspirin is 300 milligram.
Yeah.
Is not using. It is banned.
Yeah, banned.
But when it was found that this aspirin can perform a very good activities in terms of the preventions of platelet aggregation,
yeah,
in cardiovascular problems as well as in neurological problems, which induced stroke or coronary block. In that cases, it comes again in low doses form.
Yeah.
So that is established. Other cohort studies about low dose aspirin for the protections of the patients, those who have experienced cardiac attack or stroke or mild stroke, those who experienced, the doctors are suggesting their low dose aspirin for the long-term basis or lifelong maybe.
Do you feel 150 mg is a recommended dose for a
only 75 milligram per day?
In Bhopal, I had seen in COVID-19 positive case, those D-dimer was 800 plus unit count, had been administered at 75 mg BD dose in single day, 150 mg.
For COVID patient.
COVID D-dimer.
But in Bangladesh, we are not mostly recommending the aspirin, but we are recommending low molecular weight heparin.
Yeah, it must be 75.
Low molecular weight 40 is very 4,000.
Yeah.
This because most of the cases, those D-dimer is very much increased.
Yeah.
The chances of cardiac event that have to protect this patient.
Yeah.
Primarily have to give in this.
It is a life-saving drug.
Well, mostly we are giving this low molecular heparin.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes, but for the post-management, maybe single dose is preferable, but not the. Maybe I'm not aware of it because of the clinicians sometimes happening this time.
But the mispractice is going on in Bhopal. What I noticed, I scolded the doctors.
It
We are giving the overdose of aspirin to the patient.
Maybe because this low molecular heparin is cost-effective medicine, very costly.
It is excellent.
Injectable form that's why they are preparing. But Prasugrel, they can also suggest for Prasugrel.
Prasugrel, yeah.
Prasugrel. but they're
Yeah.
not because aspirin they had 150 milligram. In that case, there's 75 milligram aspirin and 75 milligram prasugrel. So
Hmm.
this is how, or clopidogrel. Clopidogrel can be the choice of drug in that cases.
Thank you, sir. You have explained nicely. I'm
Huh.
thankful to the Tuba group, Dr. Pawar, who
Yes.
has chosen you the right
Thank you
man
very
on
much.
this platform.
Thank you very much.
Very thankful to you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Dr. Subhash
Thank you.
also. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for connecting with us, and thanks to Dr. Shritesh to focus on to the pharmacy practice in Bangladesh as well as India and globally, and very nicely explain the role of pharmacist. What should be the role of, what could be the role of pharmacist, और क्या होना चाहिए?
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
definitely. Thank you.
Dr. Ganesh, thank you very much for your knowledge and expertise. And definitely, definitely.
I'm honored. I'm honored.
We have to promote these things to our students so that they
Sir,
can
I
motivate it.
deliver. I'm running clinical trial right now. It's a big trial going on under me. And this is the only institute from FDA had been given authorization, Cancer Institute for FDA clinical trial. And one molecule
Very good.
already is in pipeline of mine. I'm a geneticist. Basically, I'm a genetic expert. But 20 trial I had been.
I have to, how can I say to you? Because I am also be involved in the clinical trial of any of the products in Bangladesh vaccines. That's why I have to make a communication because I need your email address and the contact number.
Can I have your mobile number? I can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I will give you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, I will provide you. Okay.
And I'd like to, because my mobile number is plus 88
Yeah,
01775
yeah.
84
Yes, sir.
again 84
Yeah.
then 46.
Okay, sir. Fine.
What's your?
It is 98263
263
21616
21
616.
616. Thank
I'll
you.
repeat. Indian code is 91, and the mobile